inches. That's okay. So guys, I'm very sorry, our network got disconnected, so we had to rejoin. So we're going to draft the front pattern now. Before we impute our measurement, I'm going to be marking 2.5 inches from the side here, and I'm going to mark that all the way to the full length. This is going to be for our buttons. So for the sake of those that will be joining us now, for those that did not join from the beginning, we are drafting a basic blazer with a shawl collar, and I will have to title that first one the part 1 because when we were drafting, our network got disconnected, so we had to rejoin. So it's the continuation of the first video. We've already drafted the back pattern out, so it's the front pattern we are drafting now. And up here I'm going to come down by 4 inches. So if you are following the tutorial and you are drafting as well, do it to do what I'm doing here. So this is going to be our shoulder line here. We're going to be taking our vertical measurement from here downwards. So the first measurement or first line we're going to take is our bust point, from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 9.5 inches. I'm going to mark that and extend the point across. Then from the shoulder line again, I'll come down to mark my waist point. From my shoulder to my waist in front is 16.5 inches. 16 inches. I've already explained this earlier. So I'm going to mark that and extend the point across as well. Then I'm going to come down from the shoulder line to mark the full length of my jacket. So we are using 24 inches as the full length. So label our line appropriate. This is the blazer length. This is the waistline, and this is the bust line. I'm going to come to the shoulder line, divide my shoulder by 2, which is 7.5. I'm going to mark it right here. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll come here to mark my basic neck of 3 inches. So your neck width must be the same with the one you have at the back on the back pattern. So I'll connect from here to this point. For the neck depth, I'll be using 3 inches for the front, so I'm marking 3 inches, and I'll connect from here to this point with my curve rule. The next thing is to mark our chest line. So to mark your chest line, I'm going to come down. I'm going to divide your bust by 6, the same formula we use for the back. Divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches to the measurement. I got 7. And I'm going to extend this line across. So this is my chest line. On my chest line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement here, just so we can have a straight line from up. I'm going to mark it right here. And I'll connect from the shoulder slope all the way to the point we just marked on the chest line. So I'm going to come to this line. What I have here, I'm going to divide it into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. At the midpoint, I'm going to come in by half an inch. I'll come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. I'll mark it here. I'll connect from here all the way to my shoulder slant to form my armhole. So in a way, we are repeating what we did on the back pattern. So the next thing now is to mark our dart. And to mark your dart, you are going to divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. That is your bust span. And mine is 3.5. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I'm going to mark it on the chest line, on the bust line, on the hip line, on the waistline, and all the way to the full length. I'll go ahead and connect all these points together to and I'm going to come down from the bust line by 1. I'll go ahead and connect my dart. The next thing is to impute our round measurement. We've already marked our bust measurement here. I'm going to come here and add my seam allowance of 1 inch. I'll come to the waistline, divide my waist by 4. I'll mark it here. The 1 inch for that, I'll replace it. Then I'll add my seam allowance. I'll come to the full length and I'll put my hip measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add my seam allowance of 1 inch. I'll go ahead and connect all these points together. This is what we have. So we are using a shoulder dart for this jacket. I'm going to divide what I have here into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. I'm going to mark the midpoint here and connect from there all the way to our dart leg. So this is what we have. So to give it a curve around this side here, I'm going to go up by 3 inches. We did the same thing for the back, and it depends on the kind of curve or shape you want around this area. You just go ahead and do what you want, and I'll curve it back into the initial line, and this is what we have. So what we are going to do right now is to mark the bust dart. And to mark the bust dart, I explained that earlier, and I will still explain now for the sake of those joining us now. To mark your bust dart, this is the difference you have from your shoulder to your waist in front and from your shoulder to your waist at the back. You know we have bust in front, so the front pattern is usually longer than the back. So if you are taking your measurement, you're supposed to take from your shoulder to your waist at the back and then from your shoulder to your waist in front differently. So from my shoulder to my waist in front is 16 inches, while from my shoulder to my waist at the back is 14.5 inches. So the difference is 1.5 inches. I'm going to come down by that 1.5 inches so that we can have the 2 pattern paper equal at the end of the day. So I'll come down from the bust line by that 1.5 inches and I'll connect it back into the bust line like this. So by the time you cut this out, you are going to have the 2 pattern paper equal. So this is how to go about marking your bust dart. So what we're going to do right now is to draft out the collar. And before we do that, I'm going to mark my button allowance. So I'm going to take from the down all the way, I'm going to take my button allowance all the way to my break point. What I mean by break point is that if you see a blazer, you see where you have your lapel and it goes all the way down to where your first button start from. So that is where your, I don't know how to explain this better, but I hope I'm making sense with this. That is where your breaking point is. If you are familiar with blazer, you will see that the lapel will go all the way from up to where your first button will start from, and then you will not have that fold again. So that is where your breaking point is. I hope I'm making sense, please. So I'm going to take, I want my breaking point to be at my waist. So your breaking point can be anywhere. It depends on the style you are going for. It can be on your waist or at your waist. It can be on your under bust. It can be on your bust. It can be on your chest line. Anywhere at all. Your breaking point can be anywhere. It depends on the look you are going for or the style you are going for. But for the sake of this tutorial, I want the breaking point to be at my waist point. So I'm going to take my button allowance of 1 inch all the way to my break point. So my button allowance is going to stop here, and I'll connect this point together with a straight line. So this is where I want my breaking point to be. Like I said, you can take it to be here if you want your break point to be here. You can take it to be on your chest line. You just take your button allowance all the way to wherever you want your breaking point to start from. So I'm going to connect from the neck width all the way to my break point. So I'm just going to manage this ruler. I don't have a long ruler right now, so I'm just going to try and make do with what I have. So this is what we have. And now we're going to draft the collar. But to make your neck relax very well, this is not compulsory though. I'm going to mark 0.2 here. I'm going to mark 0.2 here, and I'll connect it back into the line. This is to allow our neck relax very well. But this is not compulsory, like I said. Now to draft out our collar, you are going to bring your back pattern. This is where you need your back pattern, and you're going to measure around your neck. You're going to measure around your neck. So I have about 3.5 here. I'm going to go up by that 3.5 inches here. Make sure your line is slant this way, not straight, just the way your neck is not straight. Just take it, the measurements in a slanted form this way. I'm going to mark the 3.5 here, and I'm going to connect from here all the way to that 3.5 like this. So I'm going to go out from here by 0.5. You can do 2. This is to allow our collar relax very well. All right, I'm going to mark 0.5 here. You can do 0.2 as well, and I'll connect it back into the original line like this. Now you're going to determine how wide you want your collar to be. You can do 2 for 8, 2.5, 3.5, at most 4 inch, but I'm going to be doing 3.5 for the width of my collar. Like I said, it depends on how wide or small you want your collar to be. And I'm going to connect from here to that 3.5 I just marked like this. So from here now, you're going to connect all the way. You're going to take it all the way to your break point. So it depends on the shape or the kind of style line you want around this part. So I would have used my curve rule to just curve it, but I don't have a long curve rule, so I'm going to draw this with my hand. I'm not so good with free hand, but I will just try and give it a little bit of curve because I don't want it totally straight. So I'm just going to sketch it out this way like this. I think this is okay. Like I said, you can use your straight rule to do this. If you're not okay with what you have, you can always clean and then redraw it until you are satisfied with whatever shape you have. So I'm still going to try to give it a little bit of curve. And if you have your curve rule, that long curve rule, you can just do this at once without going through the stress of so I think this is better. So I'll just use my curve rule here to just outline the line so that it's more visible for us to see. I think this is not working for me. So I think this is cool like this. This is cool. And this is basically it. This is basically it for the pattern drafting. It's very simple. Very, very easy to draft. So this is basically it for the front pattern. So this is how to go about drafting. I'm not okay with this shape I have here. You guys should pardon me. I'm not so good with free hand. I'm not so good with my free hand. I think I can manage this. So this is basically it. This is where your buttons will start from. This is your breaking point. And this is all for this tutorial. Please, if you find this video helpful, do well to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any question, anything you don't understand at all, do well to drop it in the comment section, and I will do well to attend to all your questions. Thank you so much for your time, for staying tuned, and if you have not subscribed, please do well to subscribe before you go. Like I said, if you have any question, anything at all, drop it in the comment section. We'll just go ahead and cut it out so that you'll see how it looks like. It looks like. please, before you cut out, do way to close down with that, so that if your lines are not aligning, you can just